Hello, citizens of the world. I'm just joking. This is more of the sound check beginning of this. I'm going to make sure that you guys can hear us. This is going to be a speech style broadcast tonight. About 15 pages worth of notes. And I'm going to be reading this essentially a speech that I put together after a lot of thought and consuming what I have looked at over the last few weeks, going to different events, being part of the industry for a while. I want to kind of go over something I probably should have done for a long time, which is kind of a state of the union of cryptocurrency in general. From a perspective, from somebody that's been in the industry, kind of in the back, observing, educating, and just, again, these are my views of the way I see things, and from having exposure to the industry in the unique way that I've had it, I thought I would put together something that was more constructed and people could understand and hear us on our vantage point of what we see. So I'm going to be kind of looking at the camera and kind of going through this. I want to make sure I stay on script because I did spend some time putting this together to make sure I get the points across. So it's about 3,400 words, so, and it's been a culmination of the last few weeks putting it together. So I will go ahead and start since everybody can hear us, and then if you Miss BBT will be watching the channel and answering as much questions as possible. We're not going to be taking any kind of questions on this particular episode tonight, and we're going to get into it. So this is BBT Carter, 2018 Mining State of the Union, Cryptocurrency State of the Union. So again, given my unique background and perspective on mining and the approach of teaching iteratively along with live problem solving and years in the space since 2011, and the personal drive to build the best grassroots mining community in the world, I feel the cryptocurrency State of the Union is in order. Now, I would encourage my fellow cryptocurrency mining channels to do their own version of this. This isn't you copying it. This is you as a diverse perspective that helps everybody. So I think everybody can reflect on our approach here and then contribute back to the community. My intention in 2013 with Bits Be Trippin' was to be an educational source on informing the community through a grassroots approach of mining-centric episodes, tutorials, live streams, and how-tos with the audience intended to be worldwide. While some do not like that approach as it has a genuine net effect on increasing mining difficulty, as more get into the space, there's a very interesting macroeconomic effect of having more people contributing. Now, what do I mean by that exactly? By the very action of you participating, you are providing a portion of service. Not only are you awarded a proportional share of your mining rewards, you build a one-to-many connection with friends and family and people that find out that you're mining. They'll ask you questions, building their confidence in the very cryptocurrency chains that you are making a contribution to. These blockchains and their associated features and utilities may get counterparties that may very well make purchases because of those interactions into the cryptocurrency and may possibly mine themselves. In addition, offer a new gateway of understanding on how things can be from a point-to-point transaction paradigm. This can invoke a creativity of your friend, say he's a developer, or her, that too also starts some research for them. Inspired by your mining, decides to take their JavaScript skills and begin to learn how to apply and augment an Ethereum-like app, developing a decentralized application, as an example, thus providing future features and apps to the ecosystem, which become utilities using the very cryptos that we're mining. Additionally, low friction transactions, such as Dash or Litecoin, that offer very quick transactions of value, give confidence to the receiver as they do not have to worry about chargebacks. creating an extremely trustworthy method of exchange. Lastly, given the basics of supply and demand and the deflationary properties of many of the published coins out there, with their schedules published and the limitation of their coins and supply, such as Bitcoin and many others of store value of cryptocurrencies, is augmented due to the very nature of private key cryptography, where you own your coins and nobody can take them from you, as long as you have your private keys stored in a safe place or on a hardware wallet. Now, for many factors, the speculative nature and the value of cryptocurrencies center around a few points. The functionality, utility, rarity, finiteness, and finality are all contributing factors. Functionality and utility are easy to see. If you want to transfer, without a question, value to anybody from a human anywhere in the world on this planet, nearly in real time, with hardly any friction, you can. Before cryptocurrency, you would have to use a trusted third party to do this activity or take the risk of physically transporting the cash from point to point. There's no question in the utility. It's 9 years in the making. Rarity is a kind of tied to the finiteness. However, the rarity is also a supply for on any exchange at any time. So the available supply versus the total potential buyers makes most cryptocurrencies rare when you look at the entire world as a buying party. Total supply is a fact. It's mathematically verified by an open source code. You can audit it on the Blockchain Explorer. To change this requires significant consensus across all nodes and miners. And lastly, the finality means once a transaction has been created and broadcasted to the network, it's done. There's no take back skis. If there was an intention to revert immutable transactions and have no consensus, then you would have a split. See Ethereum and Ethereum Classic history for a deeper reference on playing with blockchain history. Now that excuse me. Now I know you did not turn into this to hear the basics and the background on how things work. So what is the outlook on things that are going on in 2018 and beyond? So from my perspective, I'm going to have a go at it. First, around cryptocurrency in general and the ecosystem stability. This year, like last year, an extensive infrastructure is underway, both physically and virtually, in support of the purchasing, selling, transacting, and scaling of cryptocurrencies and the associated tokens of utilities and securities on some of those chains. Make no mistake that cryptocurrency and tokenization of nearly everything is under full-scale development right now. One glaring observation at our most recent trip to CES 2018 and the recent North American Bitcoin conference this last week was the fact that there was an extensive amount of resources, large companies under full-scale development, implementation, and notional planning around this entire sector. But you may ask, where's the proof? Notional plans were presented around the transfer of Bitcoin mining power, as an example, moving distribution worldwide, US, Canada, and Russia, with an extensive expansion plan. Bitfury is investing significantly into the infrastructure, cargo containers, transporting huge mining farms, making them mobile. Just watch the Hunt 8 presentation for the North American Bitcoin conference we just put out today as a reference. In addition, extensive branding campaigns, outreach and co-branding further established cryptocurrency names. Just look at the Dash Bus going everywhere. Cryptocurrency is now part of the daily news cycle on many financial channels. Some could see that as a bad thing. However, awareness is typically good as people see things, it brings a brand awareness. So when, as they say it more, there's less resistance to enter the space when good news is presented later. Another institutional acceptance carrying on in 2018 is the continuance of the CFTC financial mechanisms in place for future contracts. This essentially is when one party guarantees to buy a product for a given price on a given date. Now, in an unregulated market, this allows for some manipulation, incentive to short activity, but overall builds liquidity in the ecosystem and guarantees a third party is going to be purchasing mined coins. Another key instrument is the significant development of financial instruments in preparation for things like ETFs. Key indicator at the CES 2018, many financial companies and infrastructure were building infrastructure for trade, options, buying, highlighted in our coverage. For CES, large payment processors were beta testing tokens for goods and exchanges at a retail level for rapid exchange and utility. The majority of the strongest assets out there right now in the cryptocurrency space are mineable proof of work and with proof of work hybrid proof of stake models. Why does this matter? It builds confidence in the deployment of capital. The very notion of R&D dollars, research, building agility, like moving containers to cheaper areas, show planning and commitment in addition to hedge risk in assets. Assets being leveraged to uphold a network. Yes, they are non-correlated. I would agree with you on that, but they're still assets. From an investor perspective, people are putting capital into something, even if it's loosely non-correlated and tied. Awareness, innovation, global acceptance, regulation, consumer safeguards, and constant development. Just look at the latest SEC documentation. Lastly, global foundation on the liquidity side getting further development. Many people want to purchase, use, and hold cryptocurrencies. However, the current options are extremely limited when looking at traditional methods of purchasing literally almost anything. Limitations of taking fiat to crypto is one of the largest factors holding back growth. Just look at anybody that tries to buy crypto. My 2018 prediction is this will become much easier. I actually wrote much easier, as there are many companies wanting to get part of that transaction volume that Coinbase has. Additionally, as more banks, regulation, and taxes around cryptocurrencies get situated, the future state will provide a foundation of around large trade activity, participating in cryptocurrencies through many ways, including holding the currencies directly. Now this is very centered on how and the what of things, but not the why you should participate in a way or not. The roots of this technology evolution was born out of individuality, freedom, and that you could control your currency personally. You own your currency without any third party being able to take your funds. As an expansion of that infrastructure, I see a large prediction in 2018 around that too, where hardware wallets will continue to get innovation, more options being available to individuals to store their cryptocurrency keys more safely and easier will happen this year. There are huge market potentials out there for the count of individuals buying cryptocurrency, thus a need for this technology to grow. Now let's talk about price. This is something I normally steer very clear from for various reasons, including and not limited to, I am not a financial advisor and I am not an accredited trader. However, my education, experience, and understanding of economics have explained the way the supply-demand works pretty well. As previously stated, just before switching to the subject of price, presented plans at both CES 2018 and the North American Bitcoin Conference was an industry declaring the growth of the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency supporting architecture and infrastructure, which will allow more individuals the ability to convert their cryptocurrencies for goods and services, along with the infrastructure and regulated control from a KYC approved exchange list growing that would accept fiat to cryptocurrency and back. If we take the basic concepts of how people will have an improved buying experience into cryptocurrency against tokens that have limited supply, the dynamics speak for themselves. Now, does that give a notional price target for any one particular cryptocurrency? No, but the ones with the most infrastructure, name recognition, and consistent roadmap of improvement, including features and transparent execution, traditionally builds confidence. Traditionally builds confidence for the people wanting to purchase. Current pullbacks in price, which can be caused by many factors, including lack of confidence in pending regulation, people taking some profit. Remember, the price of Bitcoin was 10K less than like 7 months ago. And there is great interest and facilities in place to take advantage of consumer fear and pick up Bitcoin and other altcurrencies at half of their current all-time highs. This experiment has been running for 9 years and has had its hiccups with debates on scaling, but still to this day in running and operating. Its next halving is less than just 870 days, or around June of 2020. Talking about Bitcoin. This, like other halvings, have had a substantial impact on price. In 2018, I'll make another prediction that more coins will follow this astute observation and make an option of reducing their inflation rate, much in the way that Ethereum did in November with the Byzantine release, dropping the block reward from 5 tokens to 3 tokens, effectively reducing the proof of work assurance payout by 40%. This activity, while not solely responsible for Ethereum's significant price increase from the low 300s at the time to its recent all-time high of around 1400, the confidence in the project, coupled with the lack of inflation, could have caused the typical activity that you are getting less of anything and then you tend to hold versus sell. That activity also caused a reduced order book in addition to confidence factors that cause buy activities, thus thinning out the order book even further, driving up the price. Bottom line, confidence in the space, grow in global interest, and reduction of the inflation influence the price over the course of a year. Given these factors, my personal position on the space makes the outlook for 2018 across the board look very bullish on mineable proof-of-work tokens. Now, I would be remiss if I do not cover the subject of mining. This includes GPU mining. This has been a very hot topic lately, as the last few months heating up even more over the last few weeks due to the run-up in graphics card prices. Now, for the sake of newer viewers, cryptocurrencies that are mineable are done so with a few types of hardware, depending on the underlying algorithm. For coins such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dash, Doge, and soon-to-be Decred and Siacoin, these are mined with ASIC chip-based machines, which are specialized chips that are focused on performing the proof of work and transaction validation activity for the associated blockchain. For their work effort, these machines are compensated for their service as long as the pool they are pointed to is awarded a block. The pool wins a proverbial lottery for the rights to mint the transactions that occurred since the last block was created. This happens most of the time during the notional block time of the rules within the code making up the blockchain, i.e. for Bitcoin, every 10 minutes the transactions that have occurred are posted to the blockchain by a miner that solves the proof of work solution. The rest of the mining network agrees that this solution was solved. Thus a consensus is formed and the transactions are posted within that latest block. Now for that effort, they are compensated in the respective coin that they're mining, or the respective block that they're mining and the coins distributed. Now most pools, contributing members of that particular winning pool shares proportionately their shares of effort that they submitted versus the total shares of that pool. Now why am I explaining this to you? Because ASIC mining and GPU mining essentially are doing the same thing. However, the algorithms such as SHA-256, which make up Bitcoin, and soon Blake 256, which Decred algorithm runs on, are solved by these specific mining machines that are exponentially and computationally faster than traditional GPUs. It's a simple math problem. A modern GPU rig can put out about 6.5 gigahash on SHA-256 for 6 GPUs. And these days would cost, well, not necessarily these days, but a few weeks ago, it would cost about $3,500 USD to put that together. An ASIC can put out 4.2 trillion hashes for the same cost. So 6.5 billion versus 14.2 trillion for the same cost and roughly the same amount of power usage. The striking thing this year with ASICs isn't focused on the innovation that may be coming from that space, but staying more centered on the concept brought forth at the North American Bitcoin Conference regarding mobile hash containers and the potential large entities entering the mining scene to get these staged to participate in the multiple trillion-dollar market caps that are projected by some. Now, this isn't BBT telling you that the market is going to be worth trillions. I'm relaying to you what I have seen in both latest conferences of the notional targets of the space. But companies like Hunt 8 that recently partnered with Bitfury with its intention to containerize large amounts of hash power and at the moment be able to force project 7+ petahash per container in mobile farms anywhere in the world, where they can get an ink deal for a good regulatory structure, tax, network connection, and cheap power. It's essentially weaponizing mining in an ASIC world, because you can lift and shift if required. Additionally, having blockchains now entering the ASIC scene, a whole new breed of ASIC solutions are coming out around accredited and Sidecoin and show further investment in the industry around the custom chip solutions. Bottom line, people are spending big money making the bet that this is not going anywhere. So now let's address the proverbial elephant in the room, GPU mining. If you're a follower of the channel, you know GPU mining is our position when educating the common gamer or crypto enthusiasts on getting into the cryptocurrency mining scene. The build approach, how-to guides, live streams, and our cradle-to-grave builds to help onboard the community. Our concept is simple. Anybody on this planet can participate. Right now, if you have a computer, you can exchange some cycles of that computer to participate in one of the many cryptocurrency blockchains that are out there, and you're compensated in cryptocurrency. With that earned currency, you can exchange it for other cryptocurrencies, HODL, or spend it like any traditional fiat in the places that accept cryptocurrency. The barrier of entry for anyone is a little time, learn the basics, get a wallet of that currency type that you want to mine, download the mining software, repoint it, the wallet, and go. Now, again, if you watch our channel, it's filled with hours of trying to help you mitigate issues that you might run into around this, but the point I'm trying to make is there's a huge network effect that occurs when millions of people or individuals can contribute to a network and be compensated for a token. Given the nature of trade, you can exchange your earned token at any time with a fellow individual without the need of any third party. This puts you at the ground level on the mint of a token, allowing you direct compensation for work effort your equipment has performed, and encourage you to exchange for other things that you feel are more valuable to you. GPU mining allows anyone to do that, as most folks have a computer and a GPU that are capable of mining during idle times. There are many GPU and CPU mineable currencies, largest being Ethereum, Zcash, Monero, Ethereum Classic, and many others. That diversity and feature sets from both platform and utility, i.e. gas-based coins like Ether or Ubix gas, and other transactional securities such as obfuscation provided by Monero on transaction, continue to provide innovation through planned roadmaps, new utilities for individuals wanting to leverage those feature sets. Now, part of the rub with the GPU mining is the fact that these tokens to mine in the most efficient and substantive way requires the top tier of the GPU threshold when it comes from the providers of NVIDIA and AMD. As the popularity continues in the cryptocurrency space, prices have reached near their all-time highs, at the end of 2017. Prices have reached all-time highs of cryptocurrency at the end of 2017. Much of the world's supply of the medium and high-end GPUs were bought up during this time. This creates a unique pricing situation around retail and wholesale GPU prices. At the current time of this speech, prices on GPUs have hit nearly all-time highs for any modern GPU. This has a negative consumer effect on the general core consumer of these products, such as gamers and content creators. As part of the State of the Union, I'm trying to give our holistic outlook to the industry regarding the GPU mining. And I'm sorry to say it's not going to settle down anytime soon. From our vantage point, I see one of a few things happening over the next 6 months, and pretty much for the rest of this year. First, even with the recent downturn in pricing with cryptocurrencies, given what we've just covered and our bullish outlook of the space, a recovery of interest, price, and a bull rush in the market could happen and probably will happen in the coming into the second quarter. Price creates a frenzy on these products, and from my observation over the last 6 years, it's not very correlated with mining, short of the situations where the assurance levels have been reduced. Slow transaction speeds, arguments by core developers, mining, swapping hash power between coins, nothing really affects price in a correlated way. Seemingly even positive news sometimes has no effect. Some of the strongest impact has been only from mass media more than any really network effect related items. That being said, any rapid price increase or bursting through current record all-time highs is going to lift the entire industry, putting increased pressure on the mining scene to acquire more GPUs and ASICs accordingly. The risk of not having companies like NVIDIA and AMD not to react with at least declaring a strategy will be detrimental to the entire space. What I would say to NVIDIA and AMD is you know how to reach us. We have ideas around this, and same to any big YouTubers out there. Awareness is key on this. From a forecast side, my remaining predictions are as follows. One of the biggest disruption to GPU mining this year will come from Ethereum's movement to Casper. But given its notional plan right now, the proof of stake, the first release is going to be hybrid. Proof of work will mine 99 blocks, and the 100th block will be a proof of stake checkpoint. This will introduce a slow roll when switching over to proof of stake over an unknown schedule. The one thing that we do know is that proof of stake supposedly is coming out, and its notional target is sometime in 2018. The effects will be more psychological than real felt effect with the hybrid model. However, time will tell on how this transition will work, especially when Ice Age is reactivated. So the next big question, will the other proof of work coins be able to handle the hash transfer? Coins such as Monero, Ethereum Classic, Ubik, Pascal, Feathercoin, Library Coin, Vertcoin, and others will pick up a lot of the network proof of work security when Ethereum goes full POS. I believe one of the biggest counterbalances to this will be the advent of proof of effort based tokens, also known as distributed computing platforms, the first coming in the form of a proof of work, proof of effort hybrid. This has the potential to be the biggest game changer in the GPU scene, as distributed hash compute power model would effectively become a global supercomputer deployed to the participating mining nodes. Bottom line, there are millions of CUDA cores out there just waiting to be leveraged in a parallel fashion. With AI and machine deep learning starting to pair up with blockchain technology, it's just a matter of time that the demand for compute power will outweigh the current cloud compute providers or be cost prohibitive, especially for indie developers that would like to leverage a distributed decentralized blockchain enabled coin, providing access to potentially tens of thousands of mining rigs simultaneously. 2018 will be the year of at least the initial coins coming out to leverage distributed compute, proof of work, and proof of effort hybrid solutions. Lastly, and in closing, 2017 was a banner year for cryptocurrency, blockchain space, institutional integration, SEC stepping up enforcement on ICOs, crypto being covered by the 24 hours news cycle, billions of funding over the hundreds of projects, one blockchain developer to 14 open positions from Blockchain Academy statistics just from this North American Bitcoin conference. Financial institutions succumbing to the pressure of evolving and learning what they can about the crypto space. 2018 will not only be the same, but the fruits of all that labor runs in 6-month cycles. So 6 months, you count back from now, 6 months into 2017, that work will be coming to bear in the next few weeks. One thing I notice is a lot of people miss when they're talking about current events is the fact that progress is always delayed by at least a quarter. Meaning while there's negative things going on right now, and the next day a progress report could come out from a company that has been working in the space for the past 6 months on a project, and then it gets updated overnight and changes the tone. Getting a glimpse at CES 2018 and the North American Bitcoin Conference, some of these projects, many forecasted deliveries over the next few months, will undoubtedly bring a surge of confidence into the industry, which will yet again shock the opponents of innovation of blockchain technology and the supporting cryptocurrencies and what that brings to humanity in general. The world's brightest minds are actively involved in enhancing, expanding, deploying features on these prescribed public platforms. And that's not too hard to get behind. So that's what I had prepared. I'm not going to be taking questions on this round. I want to make sure this was clear and concise for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We will be having a live stream tomorrow. I'll offer a question and answer, allow folks to consume that. And then so bring your question and answer, including your super chats if we've had those. I will answer those in tomorrow's piece there. So I will, I'm going to shut this one down for tonight, and then I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. You guys can catch us in Discord if you have a lot more questions. Thanks.